And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Let's see. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. North Georgia's only live online morning show. It's 9 o'clock. I promised you I'll give you 30 seconds. And I'll give you 30 seconds if you want to call all your friends and say, tune in to FYNTV.com right now in the next minute. And we're going to be doing a story. We hope it doesn't last an hour because we don't want to bore you. All right. First of all, for those out there that are taking notes, like on a legal pad, attorneys, get ready. Sharpen your pencil, get ready. Because I think we ought to name this episode, like this is episode 8, Fan and Cartel, episode 8, right? Maybe that's what we should name it. So get ready, because God knows they're going to have their pencils out. These attorneys are going to have their pencils out. They'll be writing stuff down, trying to figure out how to get old BKP here. But anyhow, so we're going to get, how are we going to do this? We're going to get Russell Stookey, Mark Thomason, Lynn Doss, Johnny Searcy, Judge Roger Bradley, Alan DeRay Green, a.k.a. N. Ray, B. Allison Sosby, Donna Whitener, the mayor of Blue Ridge, and Rhonda Thomas in the same segment.
Does this work? Fan and Cartel, Season 1, Episode 8? Just like Netflix, right?
I know you didn't.
Previously on.
Get that off the screen. I can't look. I love it, but get it off. I can't look at it.
Need the recap.
Well, I want to tell you, since you threw that in, have you watched Manhunt on there?
I haven't. How is it?
Oh my God! Oh yeah, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
Who's in it?
I don't know the people. I just know it's Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. Oh, it's great. Manhunt, Netflix. Okay,
I'll check that out.
All right, now in front of me. I've been thinking, how do I tie this whole thing together? In front of me for a couple of things here. This news organization, FetchYourNews.com, FYNTV.com, FYN period, is the only, we say this with full confidence, we are the only news network publication that studied this story all the way from the day that Judge Roger Bradley put his picture up, used the racial slur, and referred to Alan DeRay Green, a.k.a. he didn't refer to him as this. He didn't refer to him as this. Let me get it wrong. It was told to the judge that Alan DeRay Green, a.k.a. N. Ray, goes by that, N. Ray, and the judge continued to tell a story that involved the N word. Okay, so that ended up into the transcript. We are the only ones. There's Alan DeRay Green. Okay, that's Mr. Green. All right. We are the only news network that from that day did the total investigation. Total. The AJC, Rhonda Cook, sorry, I don't personally know her. The Times Free Press, is that their name over in Chattanooga? And other networks dropped this. Other news agencies dropped this after they felt it was going anywhere. But from day one, this is the documents from that day, all of these documents. I look at the camera and tell you, I feel strong. Now, they may have departments that they had go through some documents, but I feel strongly that I'm the only one. I have read every document on this desk. There's not a document on this desk that I did not read. Hours and days, every document here. Now, I want to be clear. This is not a whether I like, and I always started this way, not to be negative, because I get attacks from some people. This is not a whether I like Brenda Weaver or not. This is not a whether I like, which is the Appalachian Chief Superior Court Judge in the Appalachian Judicial District, Judge Brenda Weaver. It's got nothing to do with whether I like her or not. It's got nothing to do with whether you think she did something wrong 10 years ago or not. Has nothing to do with it. The issue is at hand, and the truth is what needed to be told, and we did that here. Same goes for B. Allison Sosby, the District Attorney of the Appalachian Judicial District here, DA. No matter what you think, if she handled a case this way or she handled a case that way, whatever you think of the district attorney, has nothing to do with this whatsoever, a like or dislike. It has to do with the truth on this subject. Now, we'll start a little bit backwards, okay? Let me pull my pictures up. Let's show the three. I have three here. Where are they at? Yeah, Doss, Mark, and Stookey. Okay. Show that picture. Doss, Mark, and Stookey. There you go. That's Lynn Doss to the far left. Okay. That's Lynn Doss. She is the county attorney for Fannin County Attorney, Lynn Doss. Mark Thomason's in the center there. That is the actual day that he was arrested because of when that's the day he was arrested in Pickens. To the far right is Russell Stookey. Now, Russell Stookey, he's an attorney, and he seems to surface a lot with certain people. Russell seems to surface around a lot of people. You can see Russell talking to, let's see, I think he is, I have watched his Facebook page because we're going to read something to you. I've watched, this is attorney Russell Stookey. We're going to tie him in. He is a, what do they call that, a common denominator? That's Russell, okay? He's a common player in about every circle. He's the attorney to the stars. You put the blank in there, okay, of who the stars are, all right? So, Mr. Stookey there, I watched his Facebook page when everything took place, and I mean, you would have posts from Angelina Powell. Oh yeah, Angelina Powell, candidate for Blue Ridge City Council. This circle of friends here, okay? Angelina Powell, oh yes, absolutely. And the cartel kingpin, which I will not reveal today. I will hold the cartel kingpin for another episode. Very, very few times the cartel kingpin's ever discussed.
Can we remind everyone what Mark Thomason was actually arrested for, who he is?
Excuse me. I will remind them. Okay? So, anyhow, before the Thomason, Stookey, and Lynn Doss, okay? All right? They put together a judicial qualifications complaint, which was dismissed. In complaint submitted to the Judicial Qualifications Commission herein after JQC by Mark Thomason, creator of the local publication called Fannin Focus, okay, his attorney Russell Stookey, and Fannin County Attorney Lynn Doss, and the Georgia Chapter Society of Professional Journalists. Now, the Georgia Chapter Society of Professional Journalists, supposedly, you remember when Mark subpoenaed the judge's records and we're going to talk about that. He subpoenaed the judge's records. Him and Stookey subpoenaed the judge's records. It's a long story that we don't have time for. And he ended up in jail for these, not maybe for the subpoenas. I don't want to get the story wrong, but anyhow. So they end up there in the Society of Professional Journalists. Oh, they treat Mark like a hero. They treat Mark Thomason from the Fan and Focus like the publisher that had just been harassed and thrown in jail because he's a reporter and he's investigating a judge. And how could we not support this guy? All the people came out. I am alone on this. I was totally alone on this story all the way through from the N-word. I was alone on the majority of this entire story, okay? So, I want to find a quick story here that this won't take long, folks. Won't take long. Just give me a second. Give me a brief second. I want to get this other story up here. So, anyhow, you can find this story on Fannin County, FetchYourNews.com. All right, so Fannin attorney Russell Stookey, Fannin County attorney Lynn Doss, which helped along the way. Oh, Lynn was pushing that cart. Oh, Lynn helped push that cart like you would not believe. Lynn Doss did, okay? Judge Weaver is accused of abusing her judicial position of willful misconduct and conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, bringing her office into dispute. The complaints allege that Judge Weaver acted illegally. Judge Weaver acted illegally to obtain an indictment against Thomason and Stookey, leading to their arrest on a bench warrant. Doss also alleges that Judge Weaver improperly used an order recusing the 3 sitting Superior Court judges in the circuit in which Doss appears as attorney of record. Take a long time to go through the bond hearing. They went through the bond hearing, okay, which is on this table. They went through Judge Weaver's operating account, which is here. I read every single check, went through every single one. Remember, Thomason alleged, okay, Thomason alleged that the checks have been cashed. Stookey and Thomason and Doss, Stookey, Thomason, and Doss also made allegations that checks drawn from judge's operating account had been cashed illegally. This is a county attorney now. This is another attorney. They're under the Bar Association. It's supposed to have some kind of ethics thing, right? Supposed to be officers of the court. I don't know. Anyhow, so the county attorney, okay, and an attorney in Towns County, Russell Stookey, and the publisher, Mark Thomason, alleged that the judge's operating account had been cashed illegally. Thomason made allegations when he requested copies of the checks written from the judge from the Pickens County Commission, stating that several banks said the checks were cashed illegally. The banks have denied making such statements upon investigation, and it was shown that the allegations were false. The banks, okay, I don't want to bring a name up, but Ruth Jordan, okay? The banks said this were false. The banks denied it, okay? They denied everything here. They looked at it. They looked at all the checks. They said, we deny they've been cashed illegally. They've been deposited properly. The banks went through and actually sent letters, okay? So, and I know this for a fact because I investigated that. I got every piece of paper, okay? Concerned about potential access to her account information. Now, this is one where I have to stop and show you something, okay? Everybody keeps wondering, oh, why did they put this poor guy in jail and his attorney? Why? Why? He wasn't doing anything but been trying to investigate this judge and her bank account. But why? Concerned about the potential access of her account information, including her Social Security number, Judge Weaver made GBI aware of it. It's all documented. GBI was made aware. Who directed her to the district attorney? District Attorney Allison Sosby took the matters to the Pickens County Grand Jury after investigation by her office. Right here. I got the whole investigation. Read every paper. The DA took the matter to the Pickens County Grand Jury. The judge testified As did the DA's chief investigator. The grand jury returned a true bill of indictment, charged Thomason and Stookey with offenses of identity fraud, criminal attempt to commit identity fraud, and making false statements on June 24th. Now, Judge Weaver claimed that she was concerned that her Social Security number and other information would be in Thomason's hands. Now, why is that important in the grand scheme of the thing? Well, we got this binder here. Let me see if I can remember this. Put Thomason and Stookey. I like that one because that's where Thomason's grinning like a possum. Now, this whole binder here is dedicated to the state of Georgia versus Mark Thomason. But it's not this case. These are the two guys here that went to jail. These are the two guys. Overnight. They spent a night in jail, man. I think they had bread and water. So this is the state of Georgia versus Mark B. Thomason. And when did this happen? Is this 2012? I don't know. Let's see. Let me go through this whole thing. Just stay with me, folks. This whole binder is committed to one thing that I had this morning. All right. I got it here. Okay, the state of Georgia versus Mark B. Thomason, defendant. The charges were not dropped. They just did not prosecute this because Jeffrey Meeks did not follow through with some things or something like that. On behalf of the citizens of the state of Georgia, the undersigned B. Allison Sosby, a district, let's see, May 24th, 2012. Okay, May 24, 2012, did unlawfully take a checkbook, a Social Security card, the property of Jeffrey Meeks, and the value of $500, with the intention of depriving said owner of said property. All right, let's see, here is the statement from Mark's mother. Here's the statement from Mark's ex-wife. That we have all the documents. I wanted to get one more thing for you this morning before we close this page. Here is the police. This is the police incident report. Okay? This is the police incident report from 5/29/2012. Okay? Upon my arrival, I met with Jeffrey Meeks, the complainant. Jeffrey stated that he let Mark Thomason borrow his vehicle while he was at work at Messrs. Orchard to haul trash. At 10:30 a.m., Mark returned the vehicle at 10:30 a.m. Mark returned the vehicle at 1 a.m. to Jeffrey's residence. Jeffrey stated when he got in his vehicle that morning, he discovered $350, his checkbook, birth certificate, Social Security card, and several miscellaneous papers were missing. Jeffrey stated that he contacted Mark about the missing items, and Mark told Jeffrey he had the items and would return them. Mark even sent Jeffrey a picture of the items to his cell phone. All right, they printed those out. They're on the file. Okay, Jeffrey stated as of 5/29/12. He has not received the items back and has been able to not contact Mark. All right. That's the incident report. Now, not to just beat that up. Let's see. Concerns about potential access to her account information include Social Security number. Judge Weaver made GBI aware of the issue. Either GBI wasn't made aware of the issue or not, but they say they were. GBI, I understand, who directed her to the district attorney. District Attorney C. Allison Sosby took the matter to the Pickens County Grand Jury. So we can stay on that all morning. Now, I'm getting to everybody else in this, okay, folks? In the conclusion, okay? No evidence, this is the conclusion from the JQC. No evidence has been presented to show any violation of Code of Judicial Ethics by Judge Weaver. Instead, the evidence appears to show a personal dislike for the judge. For instance, now I want you to listen to this. This is what this guy in the red tie said, and there's a reason you want to remember this. This is what this guy posted on the internet. The guy in the red tie. His name would be Russell Stookey. Instead, the dislike for the judge. For instance, Stookey himself stated that he is spreading wild stories which are not true, but it will give them something to be excited about, and I'm feeding the cheese-eating rat bastards as much as I may. He goes on to ask for help in the effort and promises to those who take up his cause that it will be fun. In a representative Facebook posting, Stookey wrote, "The FBI has done a great job." Thank you, Lynn Doss, for helping. "The FBI has done a great job, and Mark and I get new evidence every week. If this goes as we think, it will mean there will be job openings from Blue Ridge to LJ. That is not up to me, or who would have, or not up to me, or we would have bodies hanging from the street lights now. If it was up to Russell, we'd have bodies hanging from the street lights." Now this guy, I'm going to tell you who he is. Who he would, if it was up to him, he'd have bodies hanging from the streetlights. You're going to be interested to find out who his other client is. Okay, the JQC has grave concern about the statements and contact by Mr. Stookey in this matter. The FBI did an investigation. The allegations raised by Stookey and Thomason, but found no wrongdoing. FBI has cleared this. FBI has cleared it. The complaints include now this one is the one I really like, okay? The complaints including the Georgia chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists, okay, have attempted to portray Judge Weaver as mounting some kind of attack on freedom of the press. From the JQC's perspective, nothing could be further from the truth. Calling oneself a journalist and reporter should not be a cover for a personal vendetta. I want to stop there for a reason. If you go to FetchYourNews.com and you click on this story we have today, okay, if you go to FetchYourNews.com, you could read the entire story that I posted. It's called JQC Dismisses All Claims Against Judge Brenda Weaver. Now go down to the bottom here at the end of the story and read. Click on the highlighted hyperlink there. Read this story. This one's important, okay? This one was published July 4th. I didn't have nothing to do. It was July 4th. What am I doing on the damn 4th of July writing a story like this? Didn't I have anything to do? This was published July 4th, 2016 by me. What is the name of the story? Fan and Focus publisher Mark Thomason arrested. Journalist or vendetta? That's the question mark. I wrote that story in July. Right here in the JQC. Calling oneself a journalist and reporting should not be a cover for pursuing personal vendettas. I wrote that story back in July, months before this came out. I wrote everything on this. Okay, the JQC has long been an advocate for the freedom of press, particularly regarding open courtrooms and fundamental right to the public to have access to actions and records of the court, the integrity of... Let's see. The complaints of Stookey, Thomason, Doss, and the GCSPJ are meritless and without any basis in law or fact. The complaints are nothing more than thinly veiled attempt to enlist the JQC in their fixation upon harming Judge Weaver The JQC will have no further part in it. All complaints are hereby dismissed. These are all on the website, all 4 pages that you can read. Now, what's that mean? We come back, we're going to spend the next 30 minutes. Who else does Stookey represent? I'd like to have a question. Now, Angelina Powell, let's go to you just a minute. You are a city council candidate for city council. I want to know, has Stookey ever been your attorney? I mean, how did Mark find out about Stookey? Who told Mark Thomason about Stookey? How did Stookey become the, we'll call him the stars of our show? How did he become the attorney to the stars? Did the kingpin, did the Fannin cartel kingpin introduce Stookey to everybody? Because Angelina Powell's on there wishing Stookey well and kind of stuff like that, you know, writing some stuff on his Facebook page. This goes way back, all right? So just wondering, who else does he represent in Blue Ridge? And is this over with Judge Weaver? And what's it got to do with the N-word and Alan DeRay Green? Oh my God, does it ever end? I'll be back right after these messages. Hey, and we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. Okay, now, so the JQC has dismissed the baseless, what they call baseless complaint by Lindos. How's that woman, the county attorney? I'll tell you. Lindos, I don't have time to go back into the N-word. If you will read the article that I wrote on July 4th of 2016, okay, July 4th, 2016, journalist or vendetta, you will see I discredited Stookey Thomason. I discredited Lindos in this matter, maybe even more. I discredited Alan DeRay Green. Anybody and everybody that was in this case, we discredited them here right on the show. We went through everything, okay? Only once. So that being said, let me get to this really. It won't take but a moment. Okay. Antelinum notice, all right? I got to practice saying that. It's more or less a demand. We demand you send us money. So on June 15th, Stookey, put Stookey and Thomason up. Thomason grinning like a possum, man. So this is where I did the show last week. Everybody thinks they're going to get $1 million, all right? So Stookey and Thomason, okay, they want their $1 million. So they get an attorney, Gerald Weber, out of Atlanta, and he is going to go after B. Allison Sosby, the district attorney, and he's going to go after Brenda Weaver of the Superior Court judge. He's going to go after Pickens County Board of Commissioners, because Pickens County is where they were jailed and so forth, and you know. And the introductory, this is their claimants are for Russell Stookey and Mark Thomason, all right? And the case already generated national, this is his summary claim. The case already garnered national attention. It involves breathtaking abuse of power by a judge, a prosecutor, and law enforcement who manipulated the criminal system. I tell you what, manipulated the criminal system to wage a personal vendetta, they say vendetta, against the local newspaper publisher and his attorney. Well, the vendetta is flipped back. The vendetta is very deep, and Mark's in it because Judge Bradley, which the N-word happened in, Judge Bradley, he is actually the judge that was judge when Mark got a divorce. He's the judge in Mark's custody case and custody hearings, child support hearings. Brenda Weaver is the judge of question in this case here. So, you know, Mark has some good reasons. We'll just leave it like that. Or what he felt were good reasons. He had what he felt good reasons for vendetta. So it's a vendetta, all right? Factual basis of claims. Mark Thomason is a journalist who runs the Fan and Focus, a newspaper, and reports local news with an emphasis on legal and government reporting, all right? They go through the facts and they start what their claims. That's when you get basis of their claim. Factual basis of the claim they give out. You have to read this. I will put this up. It's 8 pages long. The legal claim, the damages. Now, what is interesting here is when they get the legal claim, the basis of their claims has been discredited, all of it. So I don't know how this lawsuit's going to go, because everything the FBI looked at, all the checks that they claim were illegally cashed, getting thrown in jail for no reason at all the above has already been refuted, every bit of it. FBI said no wrongdoing. JQC wants nothing to do. They're not removing. Oh, by the way, Brenda Weaver is not being removed by the bench, from the bench. There you go. For all those that were wondering if Brenda Weaver was going to get removed from the bench, no, not happening. The damages. While these two men no longer face baseless criminal prosecution, they continue to suffer the effects of this saga. Both men rely on people in and around the Appalachian judicial system to make a living. They rely on them to make a living. The acts of the government officials named in this letter have damaged their reputations. This is what did it. This is what did it. Whoa. Okay. Which has had a direct impact on both of the men's livelihood. Following the arrest, Thomason saw a significant decline in revenue for the Fan and Focus and eventually had to close the newspaper. The Fan and Focus was a successful business venture when it began in 2014. Its average monthly revenue was approximately $21,000 a month. Folks, are you getting ready you want to go to court and substantiate these lies? In 2015, the average monthly revenue increased to $23,000 prior to the arrest. Wow. 2015, prior to the arrest. The average monthly revenue was approximately $22,000. After Thomason's arrest, revenue for the Focus dropped in an average of $7,500 a month for the remainder of 2016. Well, let me ask you a question, okay? Let's wait till they open the books. If they push this here, let's open the books. Because Blue Ridge Police Chief, now here's an accusation sources say, okay? And one source names themselves on Facebook, period. I'm not going to use their name, but it's on Facebook. Sources say that police chief, before this happened, way before this happened, okay, during election season, all right? During election season. See, they were supposed to take the sheriff down. And chief, you got to understand, they were supposed to take sheriff. This whole thing was, they're supposed to get rid of Brenda Weaver. They're supposed to get rid of Roger Bradley. They were supposed to get rid of Barbara Allison Sosby, the DA, but that was a little side note they were going to have. But they were also supposed to get rid of Dane Kirby and cause a major political scandal, okay, that would change the election. And who else but Blue Ridge Police Chief Johnny Searcy would be sheriff. Oh yeah, what a cartel, right? So anyhow, sources say Angie Art loaned Mark Thomason money well before this happened. Councilwoman Angie Arp. Sources say that Johnny Searcy paid his print bill. Chief of police right there at Blue Ridge paid the Fan and Focus print bill a couple times. That's publicly written. So I can't wait till they open the books, okay? Open the books. Now, I asked Mr. Stookey. So here's Mr. Stookey. So Mr. Stookey similarly suffered a decline in business revenue following his arrest. Mr. Stookey, a solo practitioner in his law practice, depended wholly upon his reputation. Woo! Bells and whistles went off on that one, right? The negative press coverage generated by this incident had a I can't read that. Negative effect on Mr. Stookey's practice and income. Had an immediate negative effect on Mr. Stookey's practice and income. Further accounts for damages stemmed from emotional distress. Now, Mr. Stookey, the fact, let's see, that why did you do these cases pro bono? And I say cases plural. Because when you were going after Rhonda Stubblefield, this was before you got your ass tossed in jail. Let's go pre-ass in jail, okay? Before the night you got your ass tossed in jail, you were the attorney for Mark Thomason on the Rhonda Stubblefield case, claiming that the court reporter, Rhonda Stubblefield, altered the transcript, which you lost. You lost that case. You lost the transcript case against Rhonda Stubblefield, the court reporter, the transcript case. You lost the complaint decision with the JQC. The FBI has found no wrongdoing. And if your business, Mr. Stookey, relied so heavily your lifestyle, and this hurt so bad, why did you defend, or why did you go after Rhonda Stubblefield pro bono, no charge? Russell Stookey, when I asked why he was defending some of these people, or why he was Mark never paid a dime, he said. They never paid a dime. Did the cartel kingpin pay anything? Mr. Stookey, did the cartel kingpin pay anything? Who's paid you? Because up to this point, I mean, you're doing pro bono work. Why? So, folks, the end of this one is further accounting for damages stemmed from the emotional distress involved in the false arrest and malicious prosecution, and for punitive damage due to the egregiousness of the actions leading to their arrest. Stookey and Tomlinson's damages exceed $1 million. $1 million. Send a check. Okay, so that's the $1 million, right? That's the $1 million over here. Remember I told you? Alan DeRay Green, a.k.a. N. Ray, sent the county, and it died. That one died also. Sent the county a demand for $1 million for the N-word in the courtroom. So I don't know where this one's going to go because there's no basis. Now, how do we get to Russell Stookey, and how does this get Russell? I'll tell you what, he can't go alone. Let's see. Russell M. Stookey, antelinum notice on behalf of. Well, how did this guy meet Russell Stookey? Johnny Searcy. Put Johnny up. There's Johnny Searcy. Now, Johnny Searcy is the chief of police, Blue Ridge City chief of police. And Johnny Searcy allegedly has paid the Fan and Focus print bills. But the Fan and Focus lost all their money because Mark and Stookey got their asses thrown in jail. Interesting. So, do you think Johnny might have known Stookey for quite some time? Now, I wonder, let's see, now I know Angelina Powell, she's running for City Council of Blue Ridge. I know Angelina Powell knows Stookey because she wrote, because I screenshot almost everything Stookey did. Everything he did, I watch all through the N-word case, everything. Every day I go there. What's he got there? Put in a folder. Put in a folder. Okay? So I know Angelina Powell would write on his page. And I know Angelina Powell knows Johnny real well. And sources tell me, I love the sources, right? They tell me that Johnny is supporting Angelina Powell over Rhonda Thomas. Oh, well, that's hard to figure out, right? But somehow Johnny knows Stookey. They all know Stookey. Okay? So, this is from the desk. Now, you wanted to know how I get Rhonda Thomas and Donna Whitener all the way around this. All the way around this story. When I started, how did they get in this? From the desk of Russell M. Stookey, ante litem notice on behalf of the Blue Ridge City Police, Johnny Searcy, and Corporal Michael Green, and the Blue Ridge City Police Department. My firm represents, Johnny, you're represented by Stookey. My firm, did you realize that he took such a hit, Johnny, in his reputation, because he said it in the other one he was searching out $1 million. My firm represents the above referenced people and entities. Please allow this correspondence to function as a municipal ante litem notice. You have to give them a notice if you are, if you're going to sue. Mayor Whitener and Council Member Thomas have continually and intentionally interfered with the operations of the Blue Ridge City Police. So, this is the same attorney, Russell M. Stookey. He signed it. Hey, who retained you, Russell? There's Mayor Donna Whitener, okay? And Rhonda Thomas. Show me Rhonda Thomas. There you go. And he wrote all of this here. And let's see. The potential of future harm continues with each inappropriate and illegal act by Whitener and Thomas. We hereby demand Mayor Whitener and Councilmember Thomas cease and desist from making any further threats. These are the two brothers that went in the city police and really roughed up Johnny and Green. Can you see Rhonda kicking the door out? Son of a bitch, where are you at? It's in the paperwork. Thelma and Louise went right in there. Cagney and Lacey kicked the door in. All right. Potential of cease and desist, the making of any further threats, as well as cease and desist from any further efforts to interfere with the operations of the Blue Ridge City Police Department. Okay. The undersigned requests the opportunity to discuss the urgent and important matter with appropriate Blue Ridge City personnel in earliest opportunity. Now, it's interesting because, you know, the ante litem notice amount of money damages. Consistent with the requirement, we note the amount of damages associated with these claims on date. Claims to the date are $1 million. As such, the extent Section 5E requires the designation of monetary damages to constitute an offer of compromise. The amount of $1 million is hereby designated as such. Stookey wants $1 million. Alan Green, he didn't represent Alan Green. I don't think he did. But Alan DeRay Green, he won $1 million. Okay? Thomason and Stookey, they won $1 million from Brenda Weaver. Now Stookey wants $1 million from the city of Blue Ridge for Johnny Searcy and Green. Really? So this is the same attorney that would have them hanging from the streets? Really? This is the same attorney that continued to say or fabricate maybe stories every day concerning the FBI? This is the same attorney? This is the same attorney that did not. This is the same attorney. Show me a picture of Russell Stookey. Give me Lynn Doss, Russell Stookey, and Mark Thomason. Lynn Doss should not be county attorney one more day. She should cease and desist. Stan Helton should remove her as county attorney. She worked with the FBI to get checks. She helped Mark Thomason according to interviews. According to former Chairman Bill Simons, I have all the audios. I played all the audios for you. I played them for us here. I've listened to all of them. Okay? Lynn Doss helped move this along. Because you remember, I told you in the beginning of the N-word case, that's where this starts. I won't say I was her first phone call, but I think I was her first phone call. Mark, you know what? You got lucky. You took the bait, Mark. You took the bait when she called, because she called me. And I thought to myself, I better process this for a minute, okay? And then when Lynn Doss said to me on the phone, when I said, Miss Doss, she called me back or something an hour later or something and said, what are you going to do? And I said, I really got to process this. I got to take time to figure out what really happened. I just won't want to go out there and say, Judge Bradley said the N-word. It's not okay. I'm not okay with it, but I want to be careful with this thing. Well, Roger Bradley, if he was on fire, I'd throw a bucket of gasoline. Now, to this day, I'll sit on a stand in the courtroom and tell you that Lynn Doss, county attorney, that's who your county attorney is. She told me to this day, if Roger Bradley was on fire, Judge Bradley was on fire, she'd throw a bucket of gasoline on him. I even wrote it in my story. If you read it, you will read the quote. Okay? So that's Lynn Doss, and she participated all the way through. All right? Mark Thomason took the bait. He thought it was his way to launch his paper, get even with Judge Bradley, get even with Dane Kirby, because he had maybe Johnny Searcy saying, this could be your big break, Mark, if we could find something on Dane Kirby, the sheriff. So the vendetta got bigger because, you know, right here we have all of his child support paperwork, all right? And then Stookey. I don't know. Stookey is the attorney to the stars. Now, I do know he knows the Fannin cartel kingpin. I do know he knows Fannin cartel kingpin. I know he knows him because I have actually witnessed Stookey and the Fannin cartel kingpin at the same time talking. But I can't bring the kingpin names up. Oh, that kingpin, that's a dangerous move. I tell you what, you think I got nerve? Well, you can't bring the kingpin name up because that's a dangerous move. So everything's been thrown out. Nobody wants to hear their story, and they're waiting for $1 million. But somehow Johnny Searcy, chief of police of Blue Ridge, finds Stookey to file their notice to the city about their $1 million claim. They find Stookey, right? Which, you know, he has a great reputation for what he said on Facebook and here. All right, hanging from the streetlights. If it was up to them, they'd be hanging from the streetlights, Russell told everybody. So that's that, right? And where is that going to go? But, you know, I'm just going to share with you. This is a quote I wrote. This is a quote that I wrote July 4th, 2016. If someone starts a fire, takes pictures, calls for the fire truck, follows the fire truck to the scene, asks what happened, writes the story, does that make them a journalist or an arsonist? BKP. Mark Thomason is no journalist. So if you start the fire, follow the call in the fire, start it, call it in, follow the truck out, take the pictures, report it. Are you a journalist or an arsonist? I think all of them are arsonists. I wrote that. You need to check this story out, all the details. Hey, Judge Weaver's not being removed from the bench, period, over, right? Donna and Rhonda, they're up against Stookey, but his credibility and all of his stuff, yeah, maybe let's see what happens there, right? And Johnny, come on, Johnny. Maybe you can pay a little more attention to the citation books and keeping the numbers in order. Or if somebody's selling alcohol in your city under 21, maybe you could do that. I don't know. The list goes on. And by the way, Angelina, how do you know Stookey? Has he ever represented you? I don't know. Just check it. Stookey, the attorney to the stars of Fannin County, also Blue Ridge. I'm your host, BKP, taking us a break. Don't leave. The show's not over. We come back and we'll have a final minute or two. I want to tell you something, all right?